Today is Friday, August 9th, and you are listening to the DogHouse Podcast.
From DogHouseSystems.com, this is the DogHouse Podcast.
We'd like to welcome you all back to episode number 2. And again, joining me today is Abby and Lorenzo. How are both of y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Welcome back, Lorenzo.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we are excited to be back. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Windows 10 and 11 and reasons to consider upgrading to 11, because I'm pretty sure there's a good number of you guys that have not done it yet, and the numbers support it, and we'll get into that in a little bit. We're also going to be talking about a new game that'll be coming out right around the corner, and when we do that segment, Matthew will be joining us for that. Last but not least, in our technical segment, we're going to go over an actual tech support call that came in earlier this week.
So this week, Windows 10 versus 11 has come back into the news. Do I have to update to Windows 11, or can I stick with 10?
According to NeoWin via StatCounter, around 65% of Windows users are still running Windows 10, with 30% of users still running Windows 11, and the remaining 5% of users running Windows 8 and earlier editions. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, has issued CVE 2018-0824. It's just a notice of vulnerability, which warns users to either patch Windows 10 and earlier editions of Windows and Windows Server by August 26th of this year, or cease operating systems after that date if a patch cannot be applied. The patch itself was pushed by Microsoft in May of 2018 via Windows Update and as a set of standalone downloads for systems that are not able to run Windows Update online. And Windows 10 will actually reach the end of support on October 14th, 2025, version 22H2 being the final version released. After that date, no more security updates will be pushed. And that brings the question, is it okay to keep running an older version of Windows?
Okay, I got a list of pros and cons for 10 versus 11, and I'm going to start with cons just to get them out of the way and end on a little bit of a happier note. So some cons are maybe your system doesn't meet the requirements to be able to upgrade to Windows 11. And as Lorenzo said, if you are running Windows 10, you're going to lose the support on October 14th of 2025. Now, please note that after this date, your system will continue to run, but you'll lose the protection of future security updates.
Good point.
Some pros are Windows 10 and 11 are nearly identical. In a benchmark test done, they came out to be roughly the same, give or take maybe a few for Windows 11. All of the security updates for Windows 11, and you get a free upgrade from 10 to 11.
Yep. Yeah, free upgrade. And like you said, you continue to get the security updates for Windows 11, which, like you'd mentioned, as of October 14th, 2025, that will be going away. Does it surprise you guys? It surprised me knowing that we're only at 30% adoption rate with Windows 11 for as long as 11 has been out. I would imagine that as we get into next year and get closer to October, there's going to be more people making the migration to it, either A, by updating the software themselves, doing the upgrade, or B, maybe having to look at new hardware. And that's kind of where it gets a little I don't know if sketchy is the right word, but it gets a little bit more difficult because of some of the requirements that come with needing to upgrade to Windows 11.
So what happens if you don't switch to Windows 11? Well, since 11 was released in 2021, they haven't really pushed people to update, which is why the 30% statistic was brought up. But as I said, as we've mentioned, October 14th deadline, no more security updates for Windows 10 will come out. So a user running Windows 10 will be at a higher risk than a Windows 11 user for problems with your security.
Yeah, right. Maybe Lorenzo, you could expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. So as always, We're not reading you these to scare you into updating, but just to make sure that you go forward with your machine with the knowledge that the biggest threat to your machine and any machine is really the human component. So clicking on a link that you don't trust or don't need to click on, or downloading or installing a piece of software that might be questionable, is always going to be the biggest security threat. But after October 14th of next year, your system will no longer be protected from future security vulnerabilities found, whereas Windows 11 users will continue to receive updates that will hopefully help to mitigate those new vulnerabilities. So your computer isn't going to get instantly less secure. It just will never be more secure than it currently is at the moment.
Okay, so switching gears, we're going to go into a new fighting game that's coming out in 2025, and Matthew is going to be joining us today to talk about it.
All right, Matthew, welcome onto the podcast. Appreciate you coming here. I think you did a review for us about how many years ago was that?
Probably about 15.
In fact, we have it somewhere probably in the archives. When Keith interviewed you, you did a game review of Spore.
Yep.
And I love that review. We'll have to find it. Maybe one day we'll put that into one of our game segments. But today you have a game that you're kind of partial to the Street Fighter style games. And you were mentioning a new one that will be coming out. And I believe it's is it like a pre-alpha phase right now?
Yeah, so this was a game I've been hearing about for probably about 5 years, since about 2019. It's a new fighting game from Riot, who you probably know from League of Legends. And it just got released on alpha for the first time today. They've been showing up at tournaments and things for quite a while with demos, but this is the first time it's released at home on an alpha, I guess, developmental stage. So it's a little late right now if you are interested into getting into it, but you can sign up for their next playtest window whenever that may be. A little bit about the game. It is a 2D fighter. If you're familiar at all with anything like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, any of those old arcade fighters, it's more similar. It's what we like to call an anime fighter. Is a way of describing basically the base gameplay mechanics of this. So it has a lot of the things that, if you're familiar at all with Guilty Gear or Skullgirls, it plays a lot like either of those. So, you know, it's got push block, auto combos, very anime movement. But the really exciting thing about this is it's a really approachable game. They've really wanted to make it approachable for newcomers to the fighting game scene, which is really good because fighting games are famously an unwelcoming genre. So this has a lot of things like a simplified control scheme, only one button specials, so you don't have to worry about like moving your stick in a certain way to get like a Shoryuken or Hadoken. But it still does have interesting gameplay for fighting game veterans. It has really good defensive options, really fun offense with good mix-ups. And another thing is it has options for 2v2. So you can tag in a teammate for an assist, like in Skullgirls, which was only single player, but this you can do 2 players. So you can do tag in a teammate for an assist, like in Skullgirls or Marvel vs. Capcom. So if you were interested in that, you can sign up for the open invite on their website. You'll just go to the 2XKO website, scroll to the bottom, press sign up, and you'll be taken to a registration page where you can select register and then enter your Riot profile information, and that'll be it. And you'll be signed up and hopefully get an invite for the next alpha stage.
I've never really gotten into those style of games. I know you have with Street Fighter. You're pretty into it. Mm-hmm. And for us that haven't really gotten into it, knowing you have that tag team feature, we'll have to try that with you.
Yeah, it looks like a really interesting mechanic. And you can do it on your own or with a partner. And yeah, if you do have somebody that is interested in these games and they maybe have already signed up for it, everybody that got invited to the alpha got a friend code as well. So if you know somebody who's in the league, maybe they signed up and you can ask them for their friend referral code.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks so much for sharing that with us. And maybe once it comes out in 2025, right?
Yeah, there's no scheduled date yet, but it is sometime in 2025.
I would imagine you're probably going to get this game, right? Oh, well, once you have some time spent on it, maybe we can get you back and have you do a review.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today.
We're going to cover a couple of game sales that are going on right now.
Yeah, so over on Steam, we're currently in the middle of the Bethesda QuakeCon 2024 event. And on Steam, you can pick up Skyrim, Fallout 4, or any of the Doom games for $10 or less. And there's a Capcom Fire Deal sale on Humble Bundle where you can pick up Monster Hunter Rise or Resident Evil 4 Remake on pretty steep discounts as well. And lastly, there's a Capcom Summer 2024 Game Bundle. $30 or more gets you a collection of about a dozen games, and most of those are actually collections. So I think in total you end up with about 40 games.
That's
for that donation there on Humble Bundle.
That's pretty awesome. And the Steam one, that's pretty cool too, with QuakeCon just going on down the street from us this year.
Yeah.
But man, some of those games like Skyrim for $7.99. I mean, I can't imagine too many people not having played that game. But if you haven't,
now's the time to pick it up.
Yeah, it's a great deal. Great time to get in and play some great games.
I also heard Starfield's got some discounts on Steam. They're a part of the QuakeCon.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people were interested in that game.
Yeah, I know Waldo here has played it a decent amount. Have you played it any?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, Baldur's Gate 3 took over my entire life.
Yes.
During that time. Yeah.
And that's surprising.
Someday.
Yeah, I don't know how Waldo had time to play both of those games because I know he really got into the Baldur's Gate 3 as well.
I'm wondering the same thing where he gets extra time. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
We had a technical support question come on in earlier this week, and we're hoping that if you are experiencing the same thing, this might help you out a bit. And we also wanted to give a shout out to Tiberius for sending us a technical question as well this week, and we will be sure to cover it. All right, Lorenzo, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I've had some IT folks tell me I shouldn't turn my computer off on a regular basis. They recommended that I put my computer to sleep instead. The problem I've run into is that randomly my computer will turn itself on for no reason. So I have two questions here. Number one, is it bad to turn off my computer when it's not in use, as that might wear things out over time? And two, what can I do to not have my computer randomly wake up when I put it to sleep?
Yeah, great set of questions. Short answer, and then we'll go into a little more of the why, is if you're not going to use your PC for a while, just shut it down. That's what I do. Windows sleep is not my favorite thing in the world. I have a series of Logitech peripherals, and they like to wake up just at random times. They're wireless. So even if I'm not sitting at my desk and nothing bumps my desk or moves on my desk, I'll see my mouse RGB light up, and that'll wake my PC if it was on. Oftentimes I'll come out into the office at home, and my wife's Razer keyboard is just on RGB rainbowing away.
Yeah.
Even though the PC's off. So I typically don't recommend using sleep. If you really want to, you can use Hibernate. But all that does is just suspend all of your RAM to disk. So you're just adding more write cycles to your disk. With the speed that PCs boot up and load Windows now, especially with new NVMe SSDs, you should be up and running Windows within a couple seconds after turning our computer from a cold boot. I wouldn't worry about wearing anything out. We're not typically running mechanical hard drives, which are mechanical spinning disks that just by being powered on are wearing and tearing. So I wouldn't worry about wearing anything out. And as for what you can do if you absolutely want to have your PC sleep, there are quite a few settings you can change, such as not allowing the network to wake your PC and not allowing USB devices. But then it comes in the question of how are you going to wake your PC besides just pressing the power button anyway? In which case we arrive back at just shut it down.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a simple way to go.
It is something that's doable, but you have to disable a bunch of the suspend features and wake features for your USB peripherals network, and also Windows Update as well.
Right. Well, good deal. Well, thank you so much. And again, to reiterate, thank you, Tiberius, for sending in that email. We got it right before we started recording, so we want to spend a little time going over that, and we'll be using your question on a future podcast. So thanks again for that. And I think this is pretty much a wrap.
All right. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And don't forget to get in touch with us. You can email us at podcasts@doghousesystem.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 214-810-4347, or you can DM us on Instagram, Facebook, or X at Doghouse Systems.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate both of y'all being able to join on the podcast again, and also for Matthew being able to come in on the guest spot too. And we look forward to coming back next week for episode number 3. And we hope you all have a wonderful weekend.